I had one striking encounter in 1971, and it was in the setting of listening to a piece of music by John Coltrane entitled "The Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost." At the time I was living in Greenwich Village. I was celebrating my friend's birthday in this apartment. We were listening to this music, and I looked out the window. It was about 11 o'clock, and suddenly this dazzling UFO appeared out of nowhere, and seemed to be dancing and moving in unison with the music. And so I was astonished. It was performing these impossible aerial maneuvers, and my first few seconds I kind of went along with it. How nice, you know, something, the sky, the stars are dancing in unison with me. It was a very celebratory feeling, and then I realized what I was looking at was impossible. So I invited my friend to the window, but she saw the same thing, and we stood there amazed for a few moments watching this movement, and then the lights, this cluster of dazzling lights moving about in the sky in totally impossible ways, shot to the dome of the church of Our Lady of Pompeii, which is about a block or so away, and stood and hovered on the dome of the church right above the cross, and beamed at us, just beamed at us. So I always have had this feeling about this particular piece of music and John Coltrane, and somehow the music was connected with the bringing down into the presence of our space, this inexplicable phenomenon. And it felt to us, or certainly felt to me, like some kind of mystical visitation. And it was an intelligent entity that was guiding those lights, that I'm sure. And it was most definitely not of this world. No terrestrial craft moves through the sky.
It's a UFO, we don't identify it.
Yes. 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 Well,
I mean, they're of this world. They've been, they're seen here all the time. They have been all the way down.
Right.
They're of this world, part of the furniture.
Well, maybe they are. Maybe they are. But not of the ordinary, certainly not of the ordinary furniture of this world.
This extraterrestrial business is purely a modern product of modern thinking. We've had UFOs. I've seen UFOs, plenty of them. They're like organic things. So most younger more. But people have always lived with them. We've always had what Patrick Harvey calls a daimonic reality, the other dimension interpenetrating ours. There's nothing new about this. It may be that by becoming conscious of them, they're having an effect, just like Jung said. But of course, there's no extraterrestrial. Well, why invent all this fantasy?
Well, there are many people, I believe, that believe they are real.
We've all heard about the end of the Mayan calendar in the year 2012, and we've heard a lot of doom and gloom things. We've heard, you know, many of the population will die. A lot of this we've heard about the new millennium. What does the panel think? That's the first part of my question.
In fact, in the course of doing research on my book, The Millennium Myth, I began to collect numbers, dates, which were given by one person or another for the onset of the end of the world. And I began to realize that I gave up collecting the dates because I could not find a decade in the last 2,000 years when somebody did not claim the world was going to end and had a following. So the conclusion I drew, a modest one to be sure, was that the world is not going to end. See? Because they've been wrong for the past 2,000 years. The latest dates I've heard are 2010. There's some Mayan calendar prediction. 2012. Terence McKenna thinks the world is going to end on, I think, 2010 and so forth. Based on my simple inductive reasoning, after 2,000 years of continuous errors along these lines, it seems reasonable to hypothesize that the world is not about to end.
It only takes one.
But